everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be starting yet another reading vlog. I am so needing to do a reading vlog this weekend and I'm very excited about it, so I hope you guys are too. I have quite the TBR, I have quite the plethora of things that I want to do this weekend as well. So I hope you guys are excited to just have a cozy and calm weekend with me. I've been having a week, honestly, which I'll explain later. I don't want to get into it right now because it's just, I don't know. But I'll tell you about it later if you want to know. But I just need a calm self-care weekend where I do some reading, where I do some knitting, where I do some plant care, where I do some journaling, just all the stuff that I really would like to do. So that is what we are going to be focusing on for the next couple of days. It is currently Friday morning and I do have a lot of books that I want to read this weekend. I have a lot of things that I want to do. So let me just get into talking about my TBR. Obviously I'm not gonna like finish these, but these are like what I'm gonna focus on. So the first book is a book that I'm gonna be reading just a little bit, well actually probably a fair amount of this weekend on audio, because my audiobook from the library returns in 3 days, which is stressing me out because I really wanted to listen to all of this on audio. And that is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I am currently about 127 pages into this book. I'm really loving my reread so far. Getting to re-experience this and get reacquainted with these characters at such an early point in the Stormlight archive has been great so far, honestly. Like just going back to the beginning, thinking about everything that's to come, it's just crazy, honestly. Especially considering like these books are so long. So much happens to the characters over the course of just 5 books that like going back to the beginning, I'm like, oh my god. I'm like remembering everything that's happening at the beginning. It's been like 5 years, I think, since I read this the first time. So it has just been a joy. Well, I don't know if I want to say a joy, actually. I don't know if I want to go that far because like Kaladin's like story in the beginning of this, he basically is a slave. In the beginning of this book, he gets put on this bridge crew where they like, it's very dangerous to be a bridgeman on these bridge crews, basically. I'll talk about this more later once I like read a little bit more of it. But it's a whole thing. So like I wouldn't say like it's fun to read, but it's just been great to go back to the beginning and to be able to re-experience this. So I'm gonna be listening to a lot of this on audio while I work on the various things that I will tell you about in a minute. But I have 2 books that I haven't started, and these are gonna be like my main reading plans for the weekend. So let me talk to you about these because I'm very excited about them. The first one I can't wait for because I'm finally going to be reading Anne of Ingleside. I just figured I needed some Anne in my life this weekend. So I'm going to be continuing the series by reading the 6th book in the Anne of Green Gables series. We are following Anne as she is now a mother. She's got so many kids now. And I cannot wait to just follow Anne through this period in her life. I know I've said that like so many times because I put it on so many TBRs this year, but I'm finally gonna do it. So we're gonna be reading Anne of Ingleside. And then the other book is a book that's on my 2026 TBR, and I finally got my hold for it. Well, actually, it was just available from my library. I'd never like put a hold on it before, but I finally have acquired a copy of it to read. And that is The Geomagician by Jennifer Mandula. Initially, I wanted to buy this book, but like it really bothers me when books don't have dust jackets, honestly. Like this is the book in its like her naked form, and I just feel like it's not complete without the dust jacket. So I was not about to go spend $29 on this book. I also couldn't find it at my local like bookstores. So that was also a deterring factor there in me picking up this book. But I've been super excited about it because it is a historical book about a natural historian, which is like right in my wheelhouse. Those are my favorite kind of books, as I'm sure you guys know. But this one is following a, what is the word? A paleontologist, that's the one. Who is also a geomagician. So I'm like, I don't really know what that entails, but I'm assuming it means she can do some magic of some sort. And I think she ends up discovering like a baby pterodactyl, but she has to hide it from this like paleontology society that is like all men and won't let her in or something. Apparently her former fiance comes into play a little bit, so like maybe there's a bit of a romance, which I'm always into. And it says it's an enchanting and transporting historical fantasy, which I feel like it's been a minute since I read some historical fantasy. So I'm super excited about this. I believe it's also based off of a like an actual Victorian paleontologist. I think her name is Mary Anning. I mean, it's the same name as the woman in the book, okay? But I'd love to do some research on her as well, like before I get into this. So gonna be reading The Geomagician. Very excited about it. So here are my couple of reading plans for the weekend. It's a bit substantial, I'd say. So we're gonna see how this goes. But I'm thinking the book that I want to start out with is maybe kind of feeling the Geo-Magician. So we're gonna start with the Geo-Magician today. And I can't wait, it's gonna be so fun. But as I said, I have other things that I would really like to do this weekend as well. The first one is just a small little goal in regards to like my current knitting project. So I'm currently working on the mixed rib cami. Here's how it's looking so far. I have, you know, joined in the round. I've put the I-cord edging on the neck and one of the armholes. I just don't have it in me to do the other one right now because it takes forever. But my current small scale goal with this is to finish my current ball of yarn. This is less than one ball of yarn. When knitting, the yarn always goes so much farther than I expect it to. And like I still have this much left of my current ball of yarn. So I just want to finish this up. That's my little goal for the weekend. Then as I said, I also would like to probably repot a couple of my plants. Not the like, honestly, like the bigger ones that probably need to be repotted. But I potted some cuttings a couple of weeks ago and I just feel like the potting soil that I used sucks. Honestly, I think I need a chunky soil mix, as like that one plant lady that I keep seeing everywhere is telling me to do. So I bought some perlite. I'm gonna go out and buy some orchid bark today. And I'm gonna mix that in with my potting soil and I'm gonna repot my cuttings because I don't think they're doing very well in their current soil. So we're gonna do a little bit of plant care. Hopefully I can like not kill my beautiful plant cuttings. I don't know if it's the best idea to repot them now, but it's either this or they're gonna die. So, you know. I also really want to catch up in my reading journal. I've again been neglecting my reading journal and I've not been really updating it super well. So I want to take some time to do that this weekend. And I think those are my current plans for the weekend. Obviously like nothing crazy. I just want a nice self-care weekend full of all of my favorite things: knitting, reading, journaling, refreshing and decorating my space, which that last one is actually going to be very possible thanks to the sponsor of today's video, who is Quince. Quince is one of my favorite online stores to go look at clothing and accessories, but my favorite thing to look at specifically is their home goods. Their pieces are super high quality but still very affordable, and since I recently moved out, as you guys know, I have a whole apartment that I need to like furnish and decorate. So they sent me a few more pieces, which I absolutely love and cannot wait to show you. First of all, I got this beautiful jacquard floral coverlet. This is just so stunning. I love the design on it. I love the colors. I love the fact that it's made out of 100% organic cotton. The design just feels so timeless, and it also comes in so many other beautiful colors. I really liked this blue, but they have a bunch more to choose from. I also had to select something gingham because I am who I am. So I picked up these pillowcases in this lovely light green color, and these are 100% linen, so they're really lightweight and breathable and kind of perfect for summer. And they go with the gingham bedding that I already have from Quince really nicely. I just love that all of their pieces are really high quality and they're made out of organic materials, but they're not gonna break the bank. So if you want to check them out, I will leave a link to Quince and these specific products that I talked about down below. So thank you so much to Quince for sponsoring this video and supporting me and my channel, and thank you so much to you guys as well for always supporting me and my channel. Your support truly means the absolute world to me. None of this would be possible if it were not for you guys, honestly, so thank you so much. And with that, it is time to get on into my weekend of just relaxing, honestly. As I said, I want to do some reading today. I'm going to be starting the Geo-Magician, which I can't wait for. And I'm probably also going to do like some knitting, or maybe I'll go out and get the orchid bark and repot some stuff later. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, let's just get into it. I hope you guys enjoy the vlog. right, so it is the next day. It is currently Saturday afternoon. I have some fun plans today. I feel like that makes it sound like I'm about to like go out and do something fun. No, I'm literally just gonna like watch a movie, and that's why I'm excited. But on my Patreon over the last like couple of months or so, we've been introducing Patreon movie nights, which I've seen people doing and I've always wanted to do them, but I didn't know really the logistics of how to do them. But we figured it out and we've been watching movies together. And obviously we had to watch Twilight together. I wasn't sure if I was going to like commit to watching all 5 of the movies, but I feel like we have to now. And today, it is currently June 20th. It is actually Edward Cullen's birthday. I don't remember how old he's turning technically, but one of my patrons was like, since it's his birthday on Saturday, we should watch the next movie. And I was like, that is an excellent idea. So in about an hour, we are going to be watching Eclipse, which I'm really excited about. I don't love Eclipse as a movie. I feel like my personal ranking of the Twilight movies literally goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like they just keep getting progressively worse as the series continues. But it is so fun to watch the movies with everybody and like chat during them and make fun of them basically, that I cannot wait to watch Eclipse with everybody, because there are some great scenes in Eclipse. Specifically, I'm thinking about the "Well, I am hotter than you" line, because like that makes me cringe, but also like cackle every single time I think about it. It is perfection, honestly. But yeah, so like gonna do that. I've spent way too much time talking about this, but like I'm really excited about it. But let me actually, I was gonna say, let me give you guys some reading updates, but I actually have some mail that I want to show you guys, because I feel like you guys would want to see what's going to be my next journal, my next reading journal. I know it's only June. I understand it's only June, but I went on the Notebook Therapy website the other day, which is where I get like all of my journals from. Not sponsored. I wish. But I saw that they released a new collection and I was like, oh my god, this is perfect. I've been looking for like a light green notebook because I haven't had a light green notebook yet, and that just feels wrong. So I saw this stunning collection that they have. Oh my god. You guys aren't even ready for this, honestly. I'm so excited about it. If it would come out of the box. I have already opened it, but I put it back in the box so we could like open it together again. What is the collection called? I don't even know if I remember what it's called. Maybe it's Meadow Moon? The Meadow Friends collection. Does that not sound like it would be perfect? So here's the box. It's beautiful and green. Oh, I love these boxes, by the way. Like the boxes that their notebooks come in, I use for like journal supply storage and stuff. So nice. But let me show you. We'll get the little look. Damn it, it's upside down. Look. It's so pretty. This is just absolutely gorgeous. The light green with the lily of the valley and like the little moon and butterflies. Oh my gosh. I could not have picked a better journal for my 2027 journal. Isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy that it'll be 2027 next year? I can't think about it, honestly. What are you doing? But these also come with a little like paper clip, which I actually have not looked at yet. Oh, it's a little lily of the valley paper clip. It's so cute. Look at it. Oh my god. So yeah, I am unbelievably excited about my new journal, and I wanted to show you guys, just give you a little sneak peek of what my journal is gonna look like next year. I feel like this is a sign that I should go like catch up in my current reading journal, because I haven't done that in a while. So maybe we'll do that after this update. So yeah, there's a little bit of not book mail, but like reading related mail. With that being said, now let me give you guys some reading updates, because I've actually made really good progress in 2 books, which I'm very excited about. Let me talk about the not reread. So I've been making a lot of progress in The Geomagician so far. I have made it up to page 172. This is honestly like such a fast read. I feel like I'm absolutely flying through this book, which is great because I just feel like I'm spending no time at all reading this, but like I'm just enjoying it so much. Like it's just really, really fun that I just don't even feel the time passing while I'm reading this, which is great. Like it's been just delightful so far. So in this book, we're following our main character, Mary, who wants to be a geomagician. I think I said yesterday that she was a geomagician. She wants to be a geomagician. And there is this society in London called the Geomagical Society that is full of a bunch of men, and because it is like the 1800s, they're like, ew, no women, we don't want cooties, like that is not allowed in our, you know, like the hallowed society that we have here. But Mary's one of the most like accomplished paleontologists of the time. Like a lot of the really big paleontological, there's a word for that, I don't know what it is, but a lot of the very impressive Okay. But a lot of the more notable, the more substantial fossils that have been found in like the recent times should be accredited to Mary. And she's just an excellent paleontologist, honestly, but nobody will recognize her for the work that she's doing, which is whack. And the fact that stuff like this was actually happening, despicable. This is why we make fun of men all the time. No, I'm kidding. Or am I kidding? But at the beginning of this book, she is a little bit destitute. She's got rent to pay, she's got bills to pay, but she doesn't have any money to do that with. So at the beginning of this book, she sets out to go find fossils so she can pay the bills. And she comes across this pterodactyl fossil in like the side of a cliff. And like that in and of itself, very cool. But there is a pterodactyl egg that she finds. And at first she thinks it's a fossil because it's like really hard, like a rock, you know, like a fossil. But through some turns of events, which like she doesn't understand, she doesn't know what exactly happened, the egg hatches and like out pops a baby pterodactyl. So the rest of the book is following her as she is trying to get those findings out there. And as I said, I've been really enjoying this. I love following Mary as our main character. She's very confident in her abilities despite the fact that nobody will recognize her for them. But she's like, I am one of the most accomplished paleontologists and I do deserve to be in the society. And I am a better paleontologist than like all of the men that are already in the society. I'm like, hell yeah, Mary. Yes, you are. I love this energy. I also find the magic that's in this book to be very interesting because you have these things that are called relics, which are like little trinket kind of things that hold magic somehow. So like normal people can do magic. Anybody can do magic if you have a relic that's like full of magic, basically. I always really like it when there's kind of this magic system set up where like anybody can do magic. I feel like it just leaves so much room for mayhem, honestly. And I just think it's really cool. But also in this world, there are witches as well who can do magic without the help of relics. And when we first introduced that topic, I was like, we have witches in this story? Like that seems very odd. But now that we've kind of like gone into it a little bit more and there are like certain types of witches that can do certain types of magic, it feels like a bit more cohesive. At first it was just like we have relics and then we had like witches. I was like, all right, like sure. But I've really enjoyed learning about both aspects of the magic that is present in this world, and I'm really interested to see where we're going with it, because based on a couple of things that have been revealed recently, you know, like the characters are having some ideas, I'm having some ideas. So I'm very excited to learn more about that. I also, you know, have been enjoying the romance. It's fun. They were kind of like childhood sweethearts, almost like teenage sweethearts. Now they're like in their 30s or whatever. And they were engaged like for a very short amount of time, but then, you know, like some stuff happened and then they weren't engaged anymore for a really long span of time, and Mary was feeling very jilted. So like later when he shows back up in her life, she's very done with him. She's very over him. She thinks he's the absolute worst and he's evil and he's doing all of these things which are terrible, which like I personally do not think any of the things that he's doing are terrible. Like on the surface, yeah, they do sound questionable, but because I am so confident that he is the love interest in this book, like there's no way he's not, honestly. I feel like it's gonna be like this other person is like the bad guy in this scenario and like Henry's gonna be like amazing or whatever. I don't know, but like that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, and I feel like that's kind of how a lot of stories like this tend to go. But it's definitely very like, you know, tumultuous between them right now. He's trying to like reach out to her and be nice to her, but like every time he's doing anything, she's like, this is all a part of your scheme, and like this, you're lying to me. I'm like, you know, maybe, but like what if he's not? But yeah, so far this has just been fun. Like it's a fun time, and I am going to be reading a lot more of this tonight after we watch Eclipse, obviously. So that is how the Geomagician is going so far. But then I've also been making some progress in The Way of Kings. I feel like I listened to so much of this book yesterday, and then I went to move my bookmark to like match where I was in the audiobook. I'm only like 130 pages further into it, which like is a lot in terms of this book. I'm now on page 275, but I just feel like I listened to so much of it yesterday. And his books are just so damn long, and there are like a million words on every single page, which like, you know, like that's fine. I'm not like complaining about it, but I just always think it's so funny. But yes, how do I even tell you what The Way of Kings is about, honestly? This is the first book in obviously a very epic fantasy series, and I'd say like the first couple of books, they all kind of focus on a character, and they all really flesh out the backstory of a certain singular character. And this one is focusing on Kaladin Love Kaladin, who at the beginning of this book ends up kind of becoming a slave, and he is working for like the army of this area, and he is forced to work on a bridge crew, which is basically this group of men who are forced to like carry these bridges so the army can ride across like this place with a bunch of chasms, basically. Like you can see it from like the bottom of this. Like we got a lot of chasms and we need to span the chasms and get across them. But there's this like opposing army that is also in this area that like shoot arrows at the bridgemen all the time, and like you're basically probably gonna die if you get put on a bridge crew. So Kaladin's a little bit down in the dumps about this, as you can believe, but through some, you know, like things that happen, through some people and things that come into his lives, he ends up kind of, you know, like getting a second wind almost, I would say. And he is just like, I'm going to become the leader of my bridge crew. Bridge 4, love Bridge 4, obviously. And I'm gonna whip these men into shape. We are not going to be dying at the hands of the Parshendi, who are like the opposing army. And we're gonna be the best bridge crew that ever bridged. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where we're at with Kaladin right now. He has such a like inspiring story. He just has the story that makes you want to root so hard for him. And I feel like just immediately off the bat you do. Like you see the injustice that has been dealt to him and you want him to succeed. And I love all of the characters that we're being introduced to. Obviously, like at this point in time, you don't really know that you're gonna love them. But like once you get like later into this book and later into the series, I just like seeing everybody again. It's been so good, especially like getting introduced to them. They'll like describe one of the other people on the bridge crew. I'm like, oh my God, that's him. And it's so fun. What they're doing is not fun. Like very depressing. Like honestly, like the Way of Kings and like a lot of the Stormlight Archive, very melancholic, very sad. But coming from like the perspective of I've read all 5 books at this point in time, you know better things are to come. But it's just been so good to like revisit it. But we've also been introduced to like a couple of other key players in the series as well. We have Shallan, but seeing what she's up to at the beginning of this series, very interesting. You also are getting the perspective of Dalinar, who is the uncle to the current king. And you know, like in the very first chapter of this book, the king 5 years ago was murdered, and you know, now everybody's super paranoid about everything in regards to that. And from Dalinar's perspective, you're getting a more like internal look at some of the politicking and some of the wider scale things that are happening. So I really love getting his perspective as well. And just seeing all of these characters at the beginning of their journey is just so good. Like every time like a new character gets introduced, I'm like, oh my God, it's this person. It's just great. Isn't it, Daisy? Yeah. Also, something I noticed, it was just like a really, really small scene, but Brandon Sanderson is so good at writing like action sequences. I think I've said this before, but like just reading another one got me so excited. Most of the time, I feel like when I'm reading fantasy, like when we're in like a battle or when there's like a sword fight or whatever, I'm kind of just like, yeah, like it's fine, whatever. But I feel like the way Brandon Sanderson writes it, it's just so exciting. Like it was getting me so excited. I was sitting and listening to the audiobook yesterday and I was knitting, which I'll give you guys a knitting update in a second. But I like started knitting faster. I was like, oh, like this is good. Like I was really into it. I have been reading a fair amount of this. I'm currently 12 hours into the audiobook and I have 32 hours left. And it's due in 2 days. I don't think I can renew the loan. I feel like I need to focus my efforts on the Way of Kings, honestly. Like I know I'm not gonna be able to finish the audiobook this weekend because that'd be crazy. But I kind of want to listen to as much of it as I can. Because even if I go use my Spotify hours for this, I could still only read half of what's left. So maybe not today, but I'm thinking tomorrow. It's Stormlight time, it's go time. I'm gonna listen to so much of this book tomorrow. That's how all the reading is going, but I do want to give you guys a quick knitting update. Then we'll be done with the update, I promise. I just had so much to talk about during this update. I didn't mean for it to be this long. But I finished, and it feels like I'm about to say I finished my tank top. Obviously I did not finish my tank top. I finished the ball of yarn that I was working on and I've attached my other ball of yarn. But I'm thinking maybe tomorrow while I'm listening to my audiobook, I want to put the I-cord edging on the other sleeve, or what is this? Armhole. I think I'm gonna have to like pull from the center of this if I can find where the center of it is. Is it this? That was way too easy. Are you kidding me? So that's now my new goal for the weekend, is to at least like finish the armhole I-cord. edge on it. Because the whole time I've been working on this, I've been like kind of dreading doing the I-cord, like the applied I-cord edging on this, because it's not that fun, honestly. And I've just been thinking about like, oh, like when I'm done with the body, then I'm like not done with the project because I'll have to go and like put the I-cord on everything. But if I do it now, then when I finish the body, I'll just be done. Exactly. I know, I'm a genius. Thank you. Let's see. Is that everything that I have to tell you about? Oh, actually, the last thing that I wanted to talk about was my beautiful echinacea that I bought at the hardware store yesterday. I went in there, I was like, we're not buying any flowers, Katie. We can't buy more flowers. And then I saw all of the beautiful cone flowers that they had. I was like, damn it, I'm gonna have to buy some flowers. I bought an echinacea, or a coneflower. I've been calling them coneflowers because I didn't know how to pronounce echinacea before yesterday, but now I know. But I got one a couple of weeks ago when I went to this like plant fair festival thing, and I got a pink one. It was so beautiful, and it's my favorite plant that I have on my balcony. So when I saw another one, I was like, but it wants a friend. Like, I know it wants a friend. So I did get another pink coneflower because they are quickly becoming my favorite flowers, I would say, especially like the pink and red ones. They're so beautiful. But I only bought one, and I'm gonna keep it to that. But yeah, anyway, plans for today. I'm gonna watch Twilight, but I think before I get into watching Twilight, I want to update my reading journal. We're gonna do that. And I think I'm also gonna knit while I watch Eclipse, which I'm so excited about. So yeah, anyway, that is enough of this update. It is so long, I'm so sorry. I will see you guys tomorrow with a shorter update. So it is now Monday morning, and I'm back with a couple of, well, like 3 small reading updates. I wouldn't say I've read like a crazy amount of any of these, but I've read a little bit of all of them, so that's kind of fun. And I also have some other like crafty related updates, and I'm gonna talk about some stuff that we're gonna do. It's gonna be very fun. So let me just get into talking about the reading that I've done since I last talked to you. Maybe first I'll give you like a very small update on The Way of Kings, because I have read more. I can't remember where I was the last time that I gave you guys an update, but I'm almost at the halfway point. I'm on page 455. So I'm like 50 pages away from being halfway through The Way of Kings, which is very exciting. I also just recently made it to part 3, which is primarily Kaladin and Shallan's POVs, which I'm super excited about because they are kind of my favorite POVs that we will, I guess, you know what? I feel like they were my favorite POVs that we got the first time that I read this book, but now that I know more about Dalinar and all of the other people that are like more, you know, close to the crown, I actually do find myself liking these chapters more than I thought I did initially. I feel like when I first read this book, I remember not loving Dalinar's chapters, but on my second read, I'm appreciating them so much more, especially just seeing some of my other favorite characters again, like Renarin. Absolutely love Renarin. Adolin still gets on my nerves, especially like in the beginning of the series, because he's kind of like a player, like different girl every like couple of days kind of situation. But you know, it's the character arc. It's the character arc that we're thinking about, okay? So seeing him like earlier in the series, it's just fun to see everybody earlier in the series. I feel like I just keep saying the same thing over and over again. But I love seeing where they started and like seeing, oh my gosh, especially with such an epic series, it's so good to go back to the beginning. So that's been really fun. Loving The Way of Kings. The only problem is they took my audiobook away from me today. I told myself, I was like, oh yeah, I told you guys too. It's like on Sunday, we're gonna lock in and we're gonna, you know, listen to The Way of Kings. But then I woke up this morning with a notification from Libby that they were taking away my audiobook. I was like, oh, this is so sad. So I put another hold on it, and we're gonna see if that decides to come in anytime soon. I think it said it was like a 2-week wait, and I have about 2 weeks until my book club discussion for this, so I guess we'll see. But I guess that means we have reached the end of The Way of Kings that I'm gonna be reading in this video. I made a lot of progress though. I made much more progress than I thought I was going to this weekend. So there's how The Way of Kings is going. I think I'm gonna give you guys my more exciting update in the middle here. Keep you guys entertained here. Because I decided that I would start reading Anne of Ingleside. I have not finished The Geomagician yet. That isn't my plans for today. But I was really in the mood to start Anne of Ingleside, and I haven't made a lot of progress. I'm not very far into it, but I did want to like let you know that I started it. Also, I'm using this super cute little bookmark. Look at this. It's one of Cass's bookmarks. It's one of her little sword bookmarks, which is super cute. But I am on page 18 of Anne of Ingleside. And obviously I'm having the best time. Like, come on, like how could I not? Literally 2 pages in, I was like, why am I crying right now? Like, not actually, but like, I was like tearing up a little bit because between this book and the last one, there's like quite the time jump. And at the beginning of this book, she goes back to Green Gables and I was like, wait, I miss I'm just so, I don't even know. I must read you, where is it? There was a beautiful paragraph or sentence, or I don't remember how long it was, but this is what really got me if I can find it. It said, oh, here it is. Yeah, it says, ghost of herself met her at every turn. Oh, I'm gonna cry again. I can't. The fields she had roamed in welcomed her. Unfading echoes of the old sweet life were all about her. Every spot she looked upon had some lovely memory. There were haunted gardens here and there where bloomed all the roses of yesteryear. I was like, that's so good. Why am I so sad? Even though this series is something that has come into my life, like, you know, relatively recently, I read the first book around this time last year, but it just means so much to me. And like, Anne as a character means so much to me now that seeing her getting all reflective and thinking back on like her younger years, I'm like, wait, this is, I can't. But I think at the point in the story that we're at now, she's maybe in her mid-30s. And hearing her talk about being in her mid-30s is hilarious to me. Because she's like, oh, I'm just not as young as I used to be. And like, you know, back in the day when we would do this, I'm like, girl, you're acting like you're 80 years old. I just thought that was very funny. And honestly, like so Anne. Like, I expect nothing less from her. I also just love that even at this point in her life, when she's grown, she's married, she has like 5 children now, which is crazy. She really does feel like the same Anne, for the most part, from like the beginning books in the series. She still just has this like childlike wonder and whimsicality to her, and I just love the way that she views the world and just how excited she gets over nature. But this has been like, the first 18 pages have been great. Like, getting acquainted with Anne's children is so fun. They definitely have the same kind of defiant spirit that Anne had at that age, so that's really fun to revisit. And it's just been great. And now I need to go get copies of Rainbow Valley and Rilla of Ingleside because I will want to continue the series. I really would like to like complete the series. Like, I don't want to finish up the series insanely soon. I mean, I've been reading it for like a year at this point, and I feel like that's a nice time span to like read a 7 or 8 book series. But I also don't want to let it drag on too long, you know? So I feel like I should read the others maybe this year. I think this year, this is my only goal. It's just in 2026, I want to complete the 8 books in the Anne series. There's that. And then I have also made some progress in the Geomagician. I'm on page 346. So I guess I probably have read like a decent amount of this. And, you know, I'm enjoying it. I'm still having a pretty good time, but I feel like this book may be a titch too long. It's like 460 pages, and I feel like at this point, it's just like a little bit slow in the middle for me. Like things are happening, like some interesting things are happening, but do I feel like they're absolutely essential to the plot? I don't know. I'm also starting to like not really enjoy the romance that much. Initially, like in the beginnings, I was like, I like what we're setting up here. I feel like with some good development, I could really be into this. But the romance hasn't really been doing anything for me over the last like 100 or so pages. I just feel like they're like, I don't know. I'm enjoying the plot of this. I think the plot is very interesting, and kind of some of the politicking that's going on in the story I do enjoy, because we are continuing to follow Mary as she is like presenting this baby pterodactyl to a bunch of people, and you know, it's a big discovery. So there's a lot of fallout of this and a lot of people that are very skeptical about this. And also through that, seeing how closely the Geomagical Society and the Church of England are entwined is very interesting. There's a big discussion in this book, I would say, about science versus religion, and seeing that exemplified through this like very miraculous discovery that may or may not have a scientific explanation to it, but the Church of England is just like, yeah, we're taking this and we're going with it. Has been really interesting, and I like that element to the story a lot. So all of that's like well and good too, but like one of the other things that I have been kind of waning on over the course of this book is Mary as her main character. In the beginning, I loved her confidence, I loved her capability, I love how driven she is to prove herself to not only just the society, but to everybody that, you know, she is a good paleontologist and like she should be recognized, which she should, obviously. But I feel like there are a couple of things that she's done and a couple of opportunities that she's turned down, especially in regards to other women who are in similar positions to her, in terms of like wanting to break in to just like doing anything within the Geomagical Society, which takes this drive and this passion and this ambition that she has and kind of makes you view it in a more selfish light, which while it makes her a very interesting character, I feel like it opens up a lot of discussions for like, well, how much should she be doing for other women? I dare say she should be doing more, but it's kind of an interesting conversation to have, but it makes her a very hard character to root for because she doesn't seem to care at all about like external things that don't affect her personally. So at this point, I just don't really know how I feel about her. Obviously, this is probably just a part of her character arc, and maybe by the end of the story, I will be like, well, look at that, it was set up well. But there are just things that she does, I'm like, ugh, I hate that. We gotta support other women out here, but I feel like she's not. But yeah, I'm still enjoying this book. I'm still having a fun time with it, but it's not my favorite. However, due to like some certain things that have been introduced and just like some magic that I've seen going on in this book, I'm probably gonna read the second one. I can probably tell you already that I'm gonna want to read the second one. The title for the second one is like in the back of this book, which I don't think is a spoiler, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. So I probably will read the second one because I'm still having a pretty good time. Despite like my couple of gripes with it, I like this book and I think it's fun. So those are the 3 reading updates that I have for you this afternoon. But I wanted to give you guys a quick knitting update because I've accomplished my other knitting goal that I had this weekend. I put the I-cord, I put the I-cord edge on the other side of my tank top. And here's how it's looking. I feel like it's looking like an actual tank top now, which is very fun. I did put it on some scrap yarn because I feel like trying it on like the cord is really hard because it's like a very negative ease kind of top, and it wasn't giving me like a good idea of how it was looking. And I'm already a little bit worried about the sizing on this, so I wanted to be sure. But yeah, it like really looks like a tank top when I take it off of the needles, which is super fun. But yeah, I still have quite a bit to go. This literally only hits like right under my bust, so I probably have like so many more inches to add on to this thing, but hopefully I'll be able to finish this like early July. That's my current goal. I'm really hoping I can finish it in July because I'd like to wear it this summer. So, although I also think it's gonna be a good like early fall piece. So that's how that is going. And then I do have a little project that I would like to embark on. Maybe today? But I've been seeing so much beautiful like painted furniture, painted frames, painted like hand painted stuff all over my Pinterest, and I would like to partake in that. But I do not have the confidence nor the artistic skill to paint a piece of furniture. We're not there yet. However, I recently, and I think you guys will be excited to see this, I recently framed a certain map, and I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with the frame because it's just like a basic wooden frame from IKEA. It's unfinished and it looks unfinished. It's super boring. So I was thinking maybe I could do a little bit of painting on my beautiful frame that I put my map of Avonlea in that I got from like that special edition of Anne of Green Gables. If you guys saw me talk about that a couple weeks ago, was it like last month? It was like a month ago. Oh my gosh. I even got fancy and I got a custom mat cut for it, which is super fun. And the guy at the framing counter, whatever, we had a good old conversation about Anne of Green Gables, which was super fun. But I would really like to go get some paintbrushes so I can paint this. I want to do like very folk arty looking, it's gonna be on a very small scale, but something like that on the border of this. I feel like that'd be really cute. And if I mess it up, I will simply paint it one color and call it good. But I want to give it a try, but I don't have any paintbrushes here. I only have paint, which is super unhelpful, but I don't have any brushes. So that is something that I want to do either today or tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna get to doing it today, but I'm super salty because I don't have my audiobook of The Way of Kings to listen to while I do that, so that's very rude. But yeah, what else am I gonna do today? Just some reading, honestly. I think what I really want to focus on, I kind of want to read some more Anne of Ingleside, honestly. Like I want to finish up the Geomagician, but I might save that for tonight because I would like to make more progress in Anne of Ingleside because that is what she deserves. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do today, and I'll talk to you guys later. back to give you guys some quick final reading updates. I have finished the couple of books that I wanted to finish in this vlog. It may be the next weekend as I am concluding this video. I have just been having a week, and I feel like I say that all the time, but when I tell you that there has not been a week this year where I have not been having a week, I could not be more serious, honestly. The problem that's been plaguing my life recently is pest-related problems, which is great. I've just been having such a good time. I don't want to go into the bathroom of my bedroom. I hardly even want to go into my bedroom. I've been sleeping on the couch. I don't want to get into it. But like, it's just, if it's not one thing, it's another, honestly. But we're here to focus on the positives. We're here to focus on the reading and the books that I finished since we last chatted. Also, I did paint my picture frames, which I am very happy with how both of those turned out. One of them's for Cass. She better not be watching this video, but I love them. I think they turned out so well. So we'll be painting more things in the future. I don't know what, honestly, what I'd really love to do, not now obviously, because yeah, I'm renting this place, but I would love to paint a door. I love the look of like hand painted doors. I think they're so cute. Obviously not an option, but like one day I think it'll happen. But let me tell you guys about the two books that I finished. First of all, I finished The Geo-Magician. This was like last weekend at this point, and I haven't thought about this book since, honestly. I didn't love the ending of this book. I think I might still continue the series. I mean, it's only a duology, I think. So I would be interested in like finishing things up and kind of seeing where it goes. But like, even though the main character, Mary, like she had some redemption towards the end of this book, she was kind of like, oh my gosh, I do need to care about people that aren't myself. I'm like, yeah. I feel like you should have known this before now, but like, yeah. And then the romance, I just like completely lost interest in. I'm like, I don't care about this man. I don't know. However, the one thing that I must say about this book is that I did look up like the actual paleontologist whose name is Mary Anning, who did live in the Victorian period and was actually a paleontologist. The story is super similar, and she was trying to get into the what is it called? Like the I keep wanting to say geomagical. It is not the geomagical. It is the Geological Society of London, like at the time. So like very similar, kind of doing a lot of justice to the original story, which I think is super interesting. I just wish I liked the book itself more, but like learning about Mary Anning as like an actual paleontologist, pretty interesting. Would recommend checking out her Wikipedia page. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on the Geo-Magician. It was okay. However, I have knocked another book off of my yearly TBR, which is awesome. I think I'm like maybe halfway through my 2026 TBR now, which I don't think I've ever done this well on a yearly TBR. Let me get my journal. We'll check. I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 15. So I'm over halfway through it, which I dare say is the best I've ever done at like this point in the year on one of my yearly TBRs. So very happy about that. I can't believe it, honestly. So I finished The Geo-Magician, and then I have also read the entirety of Anne of Ingleside. And I wish I was coming back to you guys with a better update on this book, but like I didn't love it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. But in my ranking of the Anne of Green Gables series, it is very, very close to the bottom, I dare say. I'd say it's like one step, maybe it's like about on par with Anne of Windy Willows, maybe. My problem with this is very much the same problem that I had with Anne of Windy Willows, in that it kind of feels like a short story collection. With some of the other books in the series, it very much feels like, you know, a normal story narrative where there's something that we are focusing on for the entirety of the book, and like there's a resolution at the end of it, you know? In the first one, it's Anne coming to Green Gables and, you know, winning over Marilla and all of the other people in Green Gables. In the third one, it's Anne going to college and kind of like the entire arc of her 3 years at Redmond, I think. And of Anne's House of Dreams is about her first year of being married and like everything that kind of comes along with that. Like they feel like very purposeful, completed narratives. But with this book, it takes place over quite a long span of time, I believe. You're watching Anne's children grow up, which is like really fun. But, you know, a lot of their stories, like they kind of every single child kind of gets like a, you know, like we hear about a couple of like silly things they did basically as kids. And that would have been like kind of okay, but like so many of them felt so similar. Like most of them were like, they met this kid at school and they start becoming friends with this kid. And as that specific story goes on, it turns out that like that kid was lying to them the whole time and whatever. I swear that happened like 3 times. I was like, would you not learn at some point maybe? I don't know, I digress. They just all felt like, it was like back to back to back. They all felt so similar. I was like, the least you could do is give me a different story arc here, but like whatever. Because I still enjoyed this book. I didn't like dislike it, but just not a favorite Anne book of mine, which makes me sad. However, did really like the parts of this book that did involve Anne, specifically like the very beginning and the very end of this book. I really liked, you know, the start and the finish point. Everything in the middle, I was kind of like, I don't know. But I did like what we got from Anne at this later point in her life. She'd been like married for 15 years. Obviously she's had kids for like 12 years now. And some of her musings on like motherhood and marriage were kind of interesting, and kind of especially seeing like her from such a young age in the beginning of the series to seeing her having these kinds of thoughts now, I liked. But I don't know, I just wish I would have enjoyed the stories themselves a lot more. There was also like this whole chapter that was literally just like a bunch of women you don't know gossiping about like a bunch of other people that you don't know, and I was like, what are we doing? I didn't love that part. Not a personal favorite of mine, but again, like, you know, it's fine. I'm still gonna aim to finish up the Anne of Green Gables series, maybe within like Q3 here. We're moving into Q3 of the year. I feel like I can finish Rainbow Valley and Rilla of Ingleside within that time. So that's what I'm gonna go for. And then I have not read any more of The Way of Kings because, as I said, the library snatched my audiobook away from me very rudely. So, but what I did read of this was great. And I did a bunch of reading this week. Even though I only finished 2 books, I still read like 500 pages of this, which I'm very happy about. So those are all the reading updates that I have for you guys at the end of this video. That's kind of everything that I have gotten up to over the last couple of days or so. And we have reached the end of this video. So I really hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me for what was supposed to be a chill weekend, but like the majority of this I filmed last weekend. So like we can just pretend it happened over the weekend. Obviously, I'd love to know down below if you guys have read any of these books. I'd love to know your thoughts on them. I kind of enjoyed them. This was kind of like the star of my weekend, I would say, but like these were okay. But I'd love to know your thoughts on those, or if you haven't read any of them, you can just tell me what you're reading now, or you can tell me what you're up to, what you're doing, anything like that. Before we go, I would like to thank everybody over on my Patreon. If you're ever looking for more content from me, that is always linked down below. But with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing Monday, or whatever day it is that you are watching this video. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye.